Alright, here we go. So this is going to be a documented process for primarily my kids, and I suppose just for myself in general. I don't know if y'all remember, I posted some photos of my skin about a year and a half ago, and you saw it flared out with some serious eczema and whatnot. Like, it was pretty intense. I posted a profile photo of myself a few weeks ago or so, and somebody commented, I don't remember who it was, said, "Oh, it's glad to see you're healthy and getting better and whatnot." Well, I'm not. I am and have been consuming 10 milligrams of prednisone every single day, at least 10 milligrams of prednisone. Sometimes been able to skip a couple days or so, and that is the only way that I've been able to mitigate and keep my skin situation under control or mitigated. So when I was in Baltimore a few months ago, it was like 6 days in to the trip to visit my dad, and realized that I hadn't taken any steroids because my body did not call for any kind of mediation or mitigation. So it was like day 6, and I said to Nova, I'm like, I don't need any steroids right now, and I don't feel like I'm going to need any tomorrow, because quite often my body will be telling me, you're starting to get a little itchy and uncomfortable, so tomorrow's probably you're going to have to take something, if not now. And so I realized that I was born in Baltimore, and my DNA is familiar with European environment, which I imagine, it's German, Irish, something like that, I don't know. And I imagine that the climate or vegetation is maybe similar to that of the Baltimore area, just because of its, location and proximity to the ocean. Anyway, when I moved to Vegas at 12 years old, I realized that my body did not appreciate the environment pretty quickly. About a year in, I was given my first shot. I had eczema break out on my hands pretty bad. Like, to the point where I was like layered up, and I was writing with, and I would be bleeding. Like, the eczema was so severe. So I was given a shot of Kenalog, which is a steroid of some sort, and it cleared me right up. And that was within the first year that I moved to Las Vegas, to the desert environment where no human should actually habitate. Cleared me right up. I was also, over the course of the next few years, prescribed topical steroids for skin. I was prescribed an inhaler, albuterol inhaler, which is steroids. I was given oral steroids, prednisone, and things along these lines. So I was given topical steroids, inhalant steroids, injected steroids, and edible steroids. And I went on to get a Kenalog shot every year for the next probably about 30 years of Kenalog, and continued to periodically, hit the inhaler, put the topicals on, consume the edible steroids to keep all of my reactions at bay. Well, collectively over time, your body adjusts itself accordingly, or what it thinks it should be doing. It doesn't know it's being bombarded by these synthetic chemicals that it's not familiar with or prepared for. So the Band-Aids, where I should have just left the environment because my body didn't appreciate it. It didn't appreciate the desert and whatever was blooming there. Where I should have moved, I didn't. I just Band-Aided, and the Band-Aids piled up on top of one another over, the course of a quarter century plus, and now my body seems to no longer be creating its own steroids, which the brain, I believe, produces. The body produces about 7.5 to 8 milligrams of some sort of steroid every day. So I'm consuming about 10 milligrams of prednisone. At one point I was at 60 milligrams when I was severely flared out, down to 40, down to 20. I rode 20 for a while because 10 didn't seem to cut it, and then I finally got down to 10, and I have sometimes taken 5, and seems to be insufficient, and so I bump it back up to 10. Anyway, the steroids are doing me in. They're not good for me. They're not good for anyone. Doctors are afraid to prescribe it for a good reason. And, from what I understand, the first thing it attacks is, or one thing it degenerates is the pancreas. And I've been hospitalized with pancreatitis about 3 times over the last quarter century. Go figure. And that's a pretty severe situation that could, be a prelude to more dire situations. So, after, and it's affected my mood, obviously. That's what steroids do that. It's affected my hormonal imbalance, because I believe that's what a steroid is a hormone of some sort. And I'm all over the place. My sleeping patterns are crazy, and my moods are crazy, my emotions are just super wacky. I don't even feel like I can really feel like I used to feel. I felt like I was feeling more when I was pounding voluntarily and recreationally pounding painkillers, opiates. So, my chemistry is skewed severely. Anyway, I am, after the experience in Baltimore, where I realized that I seemed to be non-reactive to the environment and I wasn't in need of a steroid, Nova and I agreed that I should probably get myself to an environment that is conducive to my healing, so I no longer have to consume steroids. So, after many months of hemming and hawing and trying to get out of Las Vegas, trying to figure out the work situation, the living situation, and keep the bills paid and maintained, I eventually managed to rip the bench seats out of the van here and make this my part-time semi-permanent housing situation. I drove to the coast of California. I've been here now for just a couple days. I don't really know what things look like or what the future looks like or how this is going to play out. All I know is that I'm in an environment that is 70% humidity versus Las Vegas being the driest point in the country of 30% humidity. I'm now in a humid environment equivalent to that of the East Coast where I was born. And I'm hoping that the vegetation, or if it was the vegetation that was blooming and growing in Las Vegas, is minimal or less than or non-existent here. I don't know. As you do, I've been to several doctors, DOs, chiros, MDs. I've been to a slew of experts on the body and have not zeroed in on any specific problem or cause of what's going on here. I just feel that it's a collective deterioration and a calibration of my own body just going haywire and not knowing how to manage this. So, I have now been here a couple days and finally made it to the coast. I've been bathing in the ocean twice a day for the last couple days. I haven't taken any steroids for about 2.5 days. I feel a little itchy. I was feeling a little itchy earlier, but I just got in the ocean and hopefully washed off whatever topical trigger may be causing it. I'm doing my best to not consume anything that could also be triggering me, such as gluten products. My meat intake has been quite minimal and is almost non-existent at the moment, I'd say. I'm consuming nothing but organic vegetables and organic fruits, and drinking a lot of good water. And so everything I'm consuming is organic and gluten-free and non-GMO and all that good stuff. So hopefully I'm providing my body with the nutrients that it requires to recalibrate back to its own natural homeostasis and get me back in order. yeah. So, you know, I will be, well, the thing is that I don't know where my skin flare-ups could go. You know, I've never let it go beyond the state that it's been to, which has been pretty debilitating. So I don't know if I don't consume steroids or powerful steroids of some sort, will my body just turn into a giant hive and eat itself alive and I die? I don't know. I mean, it seems like a very viable possibility. And that's very scary to me, because when your skin's whacked, man, you are disabled severely. So I am doing my best to get healthy. So I'm going to post daily updates for myself, give messages to my kids, because who knows what my future looks like. Maybe maybe I'm not going to live much longer. I don't know. I have no idea. And maybe I'm going to live to be 125 and break some records in the family. However, if I don't make it a whole bunch longer, I'd like to get some words out of me and some good information into my kids' heads, or at least something that they can reflect upon if I am gone, or something that they can reflect upon while I'm still here. I don't know. So, I've got, between Nova and I, we've got 6 kids. I've got Slade, Brianna, Nakai, Taya, Ellie, and Stellar. And they are, they're in this world just like the rest of us, and they've been subject to some conditioning that I regret ever introducing them to, and I would like to fix that. I would like to cover subjects, topics daily that they can, that they can digest and mull over, and hopefully, some things get in there and help them out on their journey, and they can make the most of this life experience, and not take them 40 years to decondition themselves like I did. So, that's it. Here I am, California. I'm on the coast. I don't know if I can't flip it around so much, but I could show you out there that there's the ocean right over yonder. If you see that, I can't tell. But anyway, about 13 minutes into this video, and I don't know, I'm going to be posting it on Transpire, I'm going to post it on Facebook, I'm going to post it on YouTube, and have plenty of places where it can be found and located and read and consumed and disseminated. Yeah, so if you know anybody in the LA, San Diego area, that needs any kind of web development, graphic design, drone videography, photography, videography, commercial real estate, personal, whatever, I'm open to taking on the project. I also have my tent tools with me and some tent. I can knock out some cars and some houses if need be. But yeah, here we are. Christmas doesn't mean much of anything at all to me. It's just a day that has been sensationalized, commercialized, and perverted. It's just much like many of our minds have been. Yeah, so, it still means something to my kids to some degree. They receive things, so that's always motivation to look forward to something, and whatever. They receive them from other family members and from their biological mother. Tay and Ellie, same. They are, caught up in the process with their biological father, and luckily Stellar is free of the conditioning and of the distorted mindset of what our society just does to just about everything. So I will be going over all of this kind of stuff in the near future here. So anyway, that's it. I don't know. Here I am, there you are. wherever this goes, whatever this does, whatever effect this has, it's just, what am I gonna do? Die with my words in me? Die with my messages contained within? Die without expressing myself and communicating? I can't. I have to let it out. So here it comes. Talk to you soon.